All right, we are live. Thanks so much for watching Lunch with Lovely. This is our podcast that we are doing throughout the week, where we'll be talking about different hot topics that are local news, national news, chatting about some community events and all that good stuff. So, what are you laughing about, Justin?
Sorry, I'm laughing. There's a delay on our screen here, and I just saw myself smile real big. So. We're still testing things out.
Well, and this is live, and what's so great about that is the fact that it can be interactive with folks watching. So, if you have any questions or if you have comments that you'd like us to respond to, or you just have comments in general, feel free to post those up so we can see them on our end. But today, of course, you know these two attorneys, Justin Lovely and Amy Lawrence, that are joined with me. Of course, I'm Rainee Romero. So what are we chatting about? What's all the hot topics today, Justin?
Well, I was reading the news. All that crazy stuff going on in the news here, man. Golly. So many drug pleas from people. It's like, what in the world is going on? Distribution. Dude got 16 years. What is this?
That's crazy.
Some guy punched a woman. Just a lot of crazy stuff going on in Oregon County.
Yeah. Well, this
Georgetown
week.
County, too. Wow.
Just a lot of drug charges and just crazy stuff going on right now.
Drug charges. A teen shooting out in Longs, it looks like. That they just arrested a kid on.
Yeah, it was a 15-year-old kid got shot multiple times. They said a bystander, a neighbor, was in his driveway talking to his wife. They're having like a chit-chat about like something, mundane, and a kid comes running up and screams, "Please call 911. Somebody's shot."
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And the young man has passed away. I think it was a young man. Yeah, it broke my heart this morning when I read that.
Yeah. Well, and I know the other day I was looking and there was a baby boy Ori. Is that the name that they give to babies that they die or they go missing, or? But it's a woman was charged in the death of the newborn.
Yeah, they finally set her for trial, right?
Yeah.
That's what the news.
This was a 2008 death of the newborn, and a trial date was set for the mom that was charged in baby boy Ori.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
That's the one where they found the baby in a bag on the side of the road, right?
Terrible.
I think she did it twice.
No,
right?
that's a different.
Oh yeah, that was somebody else, I thought.
Or is that
I don't know. I could
was
look.
already tried once.
I could look into it further, but it's amazing to me how often those things happen with newborn babies.
I know. I tell Justin all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna put up a billboard like, "Don't want your kid? I got you."
Yeah. Yeah.
Holler.
Yeah. Bring that baby.
I'll come get it. Yep.
Yeah, very sad. But on a lighter note, this week school started. So back to school time. It's always a weird week, because it's like a mad dash to get all the kids ready for school. Everybody's going school shopping. And then it's all of the jitters of first day. It might even be, your last day of your senior year, your last first day, or your first day with kindergarten and all the emotions that go through with that. But I know that you guys have two little ones that you guys sent to school. How was it for you guys this week?
We have a 4th grader and a 6th grader. We're starting middle school. So far, so good.
Middle school's scary.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really gets away from middle school unscathed.
No.
Like when I think back of middle school for me, it was like, it was hard for the teachers. It was hard for us. I don't know. It's such like those 3 years are such a flux in your life, especially as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody kind of dealing with you in the moment. Middle school's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
I always explain it as like that weird middle ground where you are kind of like testing your boundaries, but you don't have the maturity to test the boundaries yet. You know what I mean? So you're like, I feel like that's when I heard the worst language and like when people got in the most fights and like all this stuff was like middle school because they're going through all of that, change in their bodies
I had to go
and
back
stuff.
and do middle school again. I would go kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
It was not, it was just like traumatic.
It's like a weird initiation, like boot camp thing or something.
Kids are the meanest in middle school.
They are.
To figure out
well, that's what I mean. They're figuring things out. They're going through all these physical changes and they're testing the boundaries, but they lack the maturity that I think that they start to develop in high school.
Yeah.
To kind of, not do those as badly. Because I feel like high school, obviously it still has its own challenges, but I feel like they're starting to kind of...
They're getting it.
They're starting to get it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I know that today we were chatting about the lack of school bus drivers. Mm-hmm. So this is interesting that it came up today. We had somebody who got to our meeting late this morning, and she was saying, oh my gosh, the traffic for school was crazy, which we all know it's always crazy, right? But another of the issues was school buses and people getting to their bus stops late or being dropped off yesterday really late. And I'm in, one of those mom Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of funny things that happen in those. But one specifically yesterday was all about these school buses that kids were having to cram 3 to a seat, sit on the floor because there's not enough school bus drivers.
I think that's the part that like is getting me. When you see kids sitting on a floor.
Just a recipe for disaster, man. If they get in a wreck, oh my God, it's going to be, ugh.
It's going to be a catastrophic injury, and so that's the part that gets me. Like,
they've had plenty of time to figure this stuff out. I mean,
and it probably a good start would be like paying them a living wage.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. When you're having to hire people to work a couple hours a day,
Yeah. It's
smidge above minimum wage ain't gonna do it.
Well, yeah, and it's I don't know. It's got to be tough because school's starting whether you got the people or not, right? So you're making do, but that's just I don't know. There's got to be a better answer for that. And and then there was also a lot of mix-ups with the school buses. Kids being dropped off in the wrong spots, kids being on different buses, supposed to be going after school, and they got sent home instead, or being late, being dropped off at home. And I just couldn't imagine, like if my kid got on the wrong bus, and I have a 3-year-old who she still has 2 years before she goes to kindergarten. But oh my gosh, if
Panic.
she,
Yes, leave an idea of it. Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
They didn't tell the parents either.
No,
right?
Well, they didn't even know where these kids were.
An hour after school's out. By the way, your bus is late. Well, shit,
Yeah.
It's already late an hour. What the hell?
Yeah.
Another hour? I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh, my anxiety would be through the roof.
I think we can do better. I mean, we all think we can do better, but I think that this is like not anything this is not a crazy.
Yeah, not
It's
that
week
hard.
one.
Something to
You made
overcome. It's not complicated, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I'm sure that's something that'll get worked out as they continue on with school. The start of school is always a little crazy, but that's important. Where your kids are is important, right? Yeah. So we have to get that figured out. But what else we got going on this week? Also, just to kind of go off of that subject as well, today our Carolina Justice Report that comes out every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And today it's on injured children's settlements, protecting them when they're in vehicle accidents. And so that kind of is a good segue with kind of back to school stuff because you've got all this extra traffic. So just a reminder for parents to really be careful driving around there. But we have that Carolina Justice Report today on kind of the process.
At 2 o'clock, right?
2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock. And we've got our ebook that you've been working on that's coming out. We've got a back to school ebook,
really good.
all children's safety issues that Rainee and I have been working on. It should be out shortly. We'll try to get that to everybody. If you're not on our list already, sign up or just reach out and we'll make sure we shoot that out to you.
Yeah, and that's just a really good reminder of just some safety tips and also the process if heaven forbid something does happen and your children do get in a car accident or get injured. Helpful things of knowing what to do in that circumstance. But what else we got in the news today, Justin? Is it a crazy news week?
Read all this. I mean, that was some local news, and it seems like, gosh, there's all these damn drug pleas. It's like, God, when will it ever end? I don't know. I can tell you this. Here's something weird that the CIA has got sued. This is Reuters reporting. They got a group of journalists and lawyers have sued the CIA and former director Mike Pompeo because they were spying on the WikiLeaks guy, Julian Assange, while he was in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. So I guess, obviously, you have attorney-client privilege, and journalists have certain privileges to maintain, their, I'm going to mess this word up, anonymity, whatever, being anonymous, anonymity, whatever. I always mess that word up. And, so that's kind of a crazy-ass lawsuit. I didn't know you could sue the CIA.
I was about to say the same thing. Who knew you could sue the CIA?
I learn something new every day here. So,
well, and go ahead.
They were tapping their phones, and that's the one thing that we're supposed to have that's sacred, right? Is when you call your attorney that no one's going to listen in on it.
Yeah.
And so
that's a big no-no, right?
Big no-no.
Yeah.
Couple product safety recalls. This is parents going back to school. This is probably, it might be in your freezer, but they've recalled Home Run pizza. I don't know what kind of pizza that is, but they've let me see if I can find the brand, but 13,000 pounds of frozen pizza because there could be some metal shards in there.
Lord have mercy. nasty.
So there's a class action that's going to pop up. Let me see if I can see the brand.
Didn't they just recall the Capri Suns too? There's like, they just did a whole recall on Capri Suns.
I was going to say, I did see
read
something
that
about that
yesterday.
pop up yesterday.
That there's some kind of cleaning.
Yeah, 5,760 cases of Capri Sun
That's a lot of Capri
is
Sun.
potentially contaminated with cleaning products. So if you've got it, do not give it to your child. The recall pertains to Capri Sun wild cherry flavored
Which is the only one
juice
we
drink
buy.
blend.
I mean, you don't know this, but that's the only ones we buy.
Yeah.
That's our kid's favorite. I threw them away last night.
It's got a best by date of June 25th, 2023. So check your fridge, and if you've already drank it, save the box and then call me. We'll see if we can figure this out for you.
Amy, our staff is saying that you're a little quiet, so you have to eat your microphone like the rest of us.
Oh.
You got to talk.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I got these silky smooth Shure mics for these broadcasts,
Fancy.
but you got to really talk into them to pick up the audio.
We're legit today.
Fancy.
Now, what was this thing last week? I know that Jessica, one of our paralegals, was showing the Narcan vending machine that was installed in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a pretty cool thing to add there.
Anytime
Cool.
you can,
It's kind of sad though, isn't it?
Well, it is sad, but it's good to have, you know?
I mean, we keep Narcan in this office. You just never know. We've kind of seen and seen it all in life.
Yeah.
And so I went and bought it. I'm like, if I could find a defibrillator, I would get one of those too. I mean, these are the things that run through our minds, but I think it's sad, but it's also like a necessary.
Yeah.
It's very, very necessary.
Makes sense. And I said in Charleston, but I should have been more specific. It's at the Charleston County Detention Center. That would make more sense.
Yeah,
I just
it's
randomly
like a
said Charleston. It's not just randomly in Charleston.
it's in a vending machine at the jail, and I think it's needed, unfortunately.
It is needed,
Mm-hmm.
sadly. But I think, that was obviously a...
I have a trooper friend, and there was a woman that he stumbled upon. The story is kind of crazy. He tells this story, and it really just broke his heart. And he said, I'm in the middle of a traffic stop, and it's very, very late at night. And he said, there's a car that's going really, really slow. And when it goes by, the woman is unconscious in the passenger side. And when I think about this is insane. And he said something just felt wrong. And he said, I called ahead and asked for help.
Good for
to try to
him.
check out, make sure she was okay, because you could tell it wasn't just asleep. There's something was wrong. He said, my gut knew. And the lady was dead. She had overdosed on drugs, and they Narcaned her. They did everything they possibly could to try to save her. And he said it sticks with him.
Yeah.
To this day.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. It's terrible when that stuff like that happens. But I've been hearing about Narcan more and more lately. As we discuss more about the opioid epidemic, I think more and more people are trying to make those resources available, just kind of to have.
And for those who don't know what that is, it's a medicine that they can give to counteract an overdose of heroin.
Right.
Or fentanyl.
Right. Isn't that crazy that we've gotten to a place where we need those
In a vending machine.
in a vending machine and just all over, really? I mean, it's kind of one of those things like.
I mean, there's a reason why we call it the opioid epidemic, right?
Right.
Because that's what it is. I mean, I think our families and our lives and all of us individually have been touched by the opioid epidemic. We all know someone who, had surgery and got over prescribed opioids back in the day, and then, they turned into a drug addict when it was all said and done. Not because they wanted to be,
Yeah. What else we got,
I got
Justin?
another safety recall. This is from the New York Times this morning. This is very important and kind of touches on the back to school issues. And we used to have one of these. So this is, listen up. You might have one at home.
Or rockin'.
No, it's a Mamaroo. The
we
Mamaroos
did have a
and the
Mamaroo.
Rockaroos have been recalled. So they're reporting more than 2 million infant swings and rockers were recalled Monday for posing a danger of strangulation after a baby died and another was rescued from entanglement. This is according to the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission. Unbelievable. The restraint straps on the Mamaroo swings and the Rockaroo rockers hang below the seat while not in use, creating the possibility that crawling infants could get stuck in them.
Granted, ours were 10 years ago, but I remember them hanging over the seat then. Wouldn't have even thought anything about it.
But unfortunately, they've got 2 reports of these entanglement incidents. Oh, my God, when the little babies crawl under the seat. Oh, and one 10-month-old died from I can't even talk today. Asphyxiation and a 10-month-old infant who suffered bruising on his neck before finally getting rescued. So they've recalled that. So check if you've got those. I'm sure if you do own one and you're registered, they're going to be sending you
replacement parts and stuff like that.
Replacement. Well, just get rid of it. Get it off the ground and get it away from your babies immediately. God, it's crazy shit. These products, these pharmaceuticals. I mean,
I think that's the hard part to stomach is I don't think the majority of the world, and especially America. Sorry, my water dropped. But I don't think people realize that, we have all these issues with products all the time that are killing people and hurting people. And we do those kind of cases. We've done seatback cases against Hyundai. We're always looking at products liability cases because, do you remember Ralph Nader? Do you remember him back in the day?
I don't know. I know the name, but I don't really remember
one of the
what.
great things about him is that he was this products liability attorney, and when he saw things that were hurting people, I mean, he was one of the people who were instrumental in seatbelts in cars and stuff like that. And so when he saw things that we could make it better and safer, he was always pushing and advocating and doing these lawsuits. Not really because it wasn't really about the money for him; it was about making it safer for everybody along the way.
Yeah, no, that is great.
And
That's great.
We do this practice, and I just found out about that right now doing this podcast. So wow, that's crazy. So I'm going to dig into that and kind of see if anybody we know could be affected from that.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you hear that and you're looking through all your stuff, your babies are playing with that, or you got it sitting on the sidelines, trying to put them down for a nap. I know that's how we used it. Get it off the floor as fast as possible.
If you're just joining us, this is Lunch with Lovely. We are doing this podcast. We do it a few times throughout the week, and just chatting about news topics that are happening right now, really, that are today, yesterday, relevant news topics, local and national. And this is interactive because we're live. So feel free to ask questions or comments and send those to us because we can see those as well.
What about the poor old lady in Hilton Head who got eaten by an alligator?
I was just about to ask about this. So
that's like the second one, like in the last 6 months, right?
Well, I know there was a guy. There's an old man who was eaten by an alligator locally.
Yeah, over in the Myrtle Beach yacht club or whatever it's called.
I mean,
yacht club or something.
It's terrible.
Insane.
They got Beaufort County got a call around 11:15 a.m. reporting a large alligator near the edge of a pond in the community guarding what was believed to be the lady. Oh my God! And she was an 88-year-old lady out of Sun City. Believed she was gardening near the pond and then slipped in the water, and then the alligator got her.
Oh my gosh. That's
Scary,
terrible. Very scary. What happens with that legal wise? I mean, can you file anything with something like that?
The only way I think you could probably have an angle with that is if maybe a bunch of them got into an HOA community, and then the HOA was placed on notice and they didn't call DNR to have them removed, or something like that. But I mean, it's so rare and exotic. I mean, that you probably would not have a cause of action. So.
Every time I hear about an alligator, I always think about the Disney story with the little boy. Do you guys remember this?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, where the family was vacationing at Disney and they were just playing on the outsides of the water. I think the boy was actually in the water a little bit.
He was up to his ankles.
He was only 2, and was eaten by the alligator. Oh my God. I always think of that when I hear any of these alligators things, because I just cannot, because the dad tried to fight the alligator and just was obviously unsuccessful. And I just can't get that. I went to Disney, I think in January, and that's all I could think about when we were going by that resort that it happened at. And I was just like, because they have all the alligator signs up now, I think they had some whenever it had happened, and that kind of like saved them a little bit, but they have definitely added up more.
Well, the great thing about Disney is they immediately, they have all the resources in the world and they used them, right?
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
We can all wrap our mind around horrible accidents happening. It's when we see people not fixing them, right?
Right.
When the system fails. And they immediately went into action. They had people out there making sure any alligators were removed and taken to a different place.
Oh, that's great.
They were putting up fencing, doing everything they possibly could so this would never happen again.
Right. Yeah, so that's always something I remember.
Bob Iger was the head of Disney, right? Know his name?
Yeah, at the time, he stepped down since then. But
I remember I was watching a talk that he gave, and he was talking about when that happened, he was in China. And when he got the call, he immediately called that family.
Wow.
Because I know what it's, I'm a dad, I'm a human. And he immediately called and apologized and said, we're going to do everything we can to protect every child, and I'm sorry.
Terrible.
He did the right thing, right?
Oh yeah, I cannot imagine, but yeah, good for him for doing that. I know you always preach that. If you do something wrong,
Own
admit it. Yeah.
Apologize and fix it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Did you have something?
I don't know. Y'all talk about some terrible stuff today,
I know.
man. We
Well,
gotta cheer up our audience
this is
here.
what's in the news. All this
I know.
horrible stuff,
Need
right?
some good news here, man.
I mean,
Football season's around the corner. I don't know
that's
if anybody
true.
watched.
There we go.
Preseason started, so that's good. I'm looking forward to that.
now your
Trying
boys,
to change the
Our
topic.
9-year-old is
Sorry, guys.
pumped about
I was gonna
football.
say your boys play football, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play flag football. I don't let them play full contact.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yep, I see a lot of football stuff that's popping up of just people, all the schools gearing up. I know. Now, when did they start? They started practicing in the summer, though, right?
Yeah. Like the middle school and high school start doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been
Summer
practicing. So
practice.
they usually start the football season pretty quickly. It might start next week because I know they had that the kickoff over at Coastal Carolina last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're probably starting, if not this week, next week. So high school football around the corner.
I know.
Justin
I
went to
know.
the University of Tennessee. That's where he graduated from. So
Did you play football in college?
we're the odd men out.
Not Tennessee. No, I wish I did. I was a little too
Snapped his
short
wrist
back
this
then.
time. Yeah.
But no, I'm a Tennessee fan, so sorry, Carolina fans.
We're the odd people out. And it's funny
That's all
because our
right.
little boys are like, they're like, we have a kid named Knox after Knoxville, which is where Justin's from, where the University of Tennessee is, and he's like, I don't want to be it. When he was little, he'd say, well, he's still little, but when he's like 4, he's like, I don't want to be a Tennessee fan. I want to be a Clemson fan.
Oh,
You can be anything you want, but your name is Knox. Just heads up.
that's so funny. Oh,
Pretty
that's
cute.
so cute. Yeah, kids are so funny.
Yeah.
The things that they say. Well, we got anything else, Justin?
No, but this is called Lunch with Lovely, and now Rainee's got to have lunch with Lovely, so we're gonna have to get off of here.
That's
'cause
right.
We're waiting outside. Our staff just sent us a message. And said
That's
it's here,
right.
so.
So if you watch this, thank you for joining us today. We are going to keep refining this podcast with, topics that are localized. So if you have anything that you know of going on, different events going on that you want us to mention, let us know. Also, any legal topics that you would like us to chat about, or this is a great time to just kind of get some questions answered because you've got 2 attorneys that are here. So we'll do this throughout the week, and we'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much for watching Lunch with Lovely today. We will see you next time.
Take it easy.
Later, Gators.